get into it. So today we have a special guest. We have Dan Bognar. Dan, welcome to the Hug event. And first of all, thank you for staying up late. I know it's late in Sydney, so thank you so much for joining us today. Dan is the managing director and vice president of JPAC HubSpot. He's been, here a while. Prior to this, he's been with leadership roles in DocuSign and as well as Salesforce. Over 30 years of experience, he brings in a vast, knowledge, right? We wanted to get Dan here today to get him introduced to the India audience. Dan has been a speaker on a few other Hug events, but I think Dan, this is your first interaction with the Indian community, if I'm not wrong.
Absolutely, first interaction with India. So excited to do that today.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so let's get into it. Because let me actually stop share so people can just see the both of us maybe. Okay, cool. So yeah, Dan, I think the theme of the event today is getting back from inbound, and I know it's been a few weeks, 4 5 weeks, things have settled down a bit, but I think we'll just go from there only, right? So first of all, congratulations for a successful inbound, right? It was great to understand so many insights and product roadmaps, what is happening for the for a HubSpot customer. uh, so congrats for that, first of all.
Thank you. It's before I get to that, I just wanted to just say a big hi to everyone that's joined today, and thank you, Abhinav, for inviting me to speak this evening. You're absolutely right. It's about 9:45 at night in Sydney, so if I sound a little bit tired, that's the only reason why. But I'm really excited to spend some time with you and just answer as many questions as I can. I joined HubSpot about 7 months ago, so inbound 23 was actually my very first inbound event that I've been to, and I know many people on the line have hopefully had a chance to go to inbound before, and you'll certainly get a sense that it's a great opportunity to make connections. It's a great opportunity to meet with other partners, colleagues, customers. And on the topic of connection, it's probably worth saying, Abhinav, that connection actually was a major theme behind Inbound 23. And during the spotlight that Yamini shared, Yamini's our CEO, of course, she highlighted a couple of really interesting points of view, I thought. One is she said that companies that focus on customer connection will see 5 times more growth than the average company. And she also suggested that companies who consistently connect throughout the customer journey will see upwards of 19% more growth. And so I think what that really does is just reinforces the value of connection, which is really why we're all here. So what was exciting also about inbound for me personally this year, apart from being my first inbound, is we actually had a record number of attendees from across the JPAC region. And one of the things we did this year, which was by far the highlight, I think, was we had a JPAC only breakfast seminar where we hosted a fireside chat with Rob Gilio, who's our Chief Customer Officer, and Andy Chetry, who is our EVP for products. And honestly, Abhinav, the energy in that room, just from all of the JPAC team that attended, it was just incredible. So yeah, a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the energy at inbound was awesome, and with this JPAC event, I was a part of it, sitting right behind, but yeah, I'm mostly the shy guy. So, but yeah, that room was brimming with energy. I still remember, the questions being floated to Andy, and the conversation was great. So yeah, I mean, that was great. And we touched at inbound, a lot of topics, wide range of subjects, right? And obviously the hottest was HubSpot's evolution as a platform, and then we touched upon AI as well, right? Could you talk us about the evolution of the business, and why have you made a shift, predominantly by the advancements of the AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So look, you're absolutely right, Abhinav. We did make a number of key announcements around AI, and specifically what we're doing around the new idea, which is Gen AI or generative AI.
Yeah.
But I think really what it highlights, Abhinav, is that we're really shifting from the age of information to an age of intelligence. And what we talked a lot about at Inbound is that AI has the potential really to reshape every single stage of the customer journey. And so if you think about the discover phase or the consider phase or the buy phase or even the use phase,
Mm-hmm.
AI touches all of this. So if I give you a couple of examples, if you look at discover, customers are now discovering products through social media and AI, not just search engines.
Right.
In the consider phase, we've got personalized insights that are being delivered as opposed to generic information. In the buy phase, we're shifting to insight driven and away from tool driven. And in the use phase, customers are demanding proactive assistant, not just reactive support to that question. So this is absolutely a revolution. And so what we're doing is really announcing as part of this a range of AI capabilities that are built
Mm-hmm.
into the HubSpot customer platform. And it's probably also just worth touching on that as an important point, Abhinav, because we did position for the first time the idea that HubSpot is now a customer platform. And really,
Yeah.
what that's designed to do is to really reposition us to say, at its core, we're a single platform with a number of hubs on top that are built natively on the platform. We have a smart CRM, and then we're infusing intelligence or AI all across the platform. So yeah, a lot of big announcements. I think the one of the things that we touched on was, how people are feeling about AI, because I think as much as people are embracing it, it's also something that is potentially quite scary for people.
Yeah.
Um, it's an opportunity, but it can also be a challenge. And I think that it was actually Dharmesh, who's our co-founder and CTO, who I think said it best. He offered some incredible advice for those people that are worried that AI might be coming for our jobs. And what he said was, he said, embrace AI because it
Yeah.
won't take your job, it'll enhance it, it'll empower you, and it will open new doors. And I really agree with that. I think our view is that AI is there to add a lot of capability to complement the human experience and to complement what humans do.
Hmm.
Our jobs are going to become so much better as a result of it. And I think that, whether you're a developer, a designer, a salesperson, AI is there really to complement what you do and take you to new heights.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes, right. We've been, I think all of us, or a lot of us have been afraid that what will happen with, the AI taking away our jobs. But yeah, you're right. The way Dharmesh put it was brilliant. And okay, let's, whatever, is moving, but what are your, personally, what your thoughts are on the HubSpot AI specifically, not, HubSpot thought, but your thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot to be really excited about. I mean, the approach that we're taking with AI is really to provide free of charge to our customers a series of AI assistants. And those assistants are really going to assist all of our human based workers by supercharging efficiency, giving them predictive insights, informing the way they make decisions. And so I think there's really a lot to be excited about. One of the things that obviously was our entry point was around ChatSpot, which we
Hmm.
announced earlier this year, and Dharmesh has been working on that for some time. But I think ChatSpot is a really interesting idea because it allows us to be able to interact with the CRM or interact with HubSpot using chat. And so we can type into a chat field, instructions, show me this customer or uh, uh, generate this email for me. And not only will it actually obviously follow the commands, but it will do it in context of what's happening. So it'll know who I am, it'll know who the email is going to, it'll personalize it based on everything that it knows. And so it's really taking a lot of that burden away from people and making them so much more productive. So if you haven't done it already, I would absolutely recommend checking out ChatSpot. Um, Apart from that, we announced a number of other features which are on the horizon. So we talked about the release of our AI content assistants. and that has a whole lot of new capability, particularly around image generation. And so very simply, Abhinav, what that means is we can use AI to be able to create custom imagery, and we can literally just go in and type the type of image and the type of style that we want, and that image will be created for us. The other big one, I think, is the AI assisted reports. This is available right now in public beta, particularly for our Operation Hub customers.
Yeah.
And what it means is you can build reports using artificial intelligence just by a simple question prompt. So you can use natural language to be able to do that, and the report will be generated for you. And then the third thing I think that's going to be exciting is the landing page creation. So you can actually generate automatically using HubSpot AI a web landing page, and you just share your page copy, and AI does all of the work. And literally within a matter of seconds, that landing page can be created, and obviously all of the relevant hooks back into HubSpot CRM. So I think it's the time savings are really exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did try a chat for a few, I think, couple of months back, and yeah, I was thrilled. Like, okay, yeah, I don't have to too many clicks. I just have to write my query, and and
Yes.
like you rightly said, right? It's the context, that's the whole game changer here, right? It's not a random response. It builds in the context, it learns and then answers, right? Yeah, I mean that's been great. And in fact, for the content generation, I think on the last Hug event we did that whole the training on, or the webinar on how to use the HubSpot AI for content creation. So we've been playing around, and yeah, we are loving it. No doubt, we are loving
Great,
it.
great.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
yeah. So let's move on from the AI piece. I know that we can keep going on there, but what about your we saw the biggest changes this time around on the sales hub, right? It's like a
Yes.
re-energized thing, right? It looks like overhauled completely, right? From prospecting to deal management to forecasting capabilities, right? And with all these tools, it looks like HubSpot is ready for the enterprise market. So what do you think? Where are we headed there?
Yeah, look, I think you've absolutely got it right up enough. So we relaunched Sales Hub at Inbound, and when I say relaunched, we completely redeveloped Sales Hub literally from the ground up. We reimagined what that experience was going to be for our users, and so the Sales Hub that we launched is the best way to think about it. It's a completely reimagined experience. There's a couple of things I think that our user base is going to be really excited about. The first is we talked about the prospecting workspace. This is a really key part of Sales Hub. The best way I can describe it to you is it's a single workspace that a salesperson goes to, where they can see literally everything that they need to do on any particular day. So it really provides them a view of all of their workload, allowing them to really focus on the task at hand. Um, in that prospecting workspace, we're going to see a lot of AI infused, so we can see exactly, which of the leads, the high priority leads, and really focus the salespeople on those that are going to yield the highest return. We also introduced lead management into Sales Hub.
Mhm.
So to do that, we've introduced a new leads object, and that's embedded in that prospecting workspace that I spoke about earlier. So that means that as a salesperson, you can very easily generate leads from your contacts, similarly to how you would create deals today.
Yeah.
We also made our sequences a lot smarter. Um, so some of the things that we incorporated there include things like A/B testing, sequence step analytics, as well as outcome reporting. And we also released as part of this, a lead form qualification. So this is something that we're currently undertaking as a public beta. And what this allows us to do is it allows you to set a conditional rule in a HubSpot form to ensure that your leads are being routed to the right person based on the information that prospect is entering into the form. There's a whole lot of other things included into Sales Hub as well.
Yeah.
I think the best way to think about it is it's an entirely reimagined experience. And exactly to your point, Abhinav, we're absolutely moving up market with the Sales Hub. So it'll deal with all of the needs of our small business, mid market, as well as our corporate customers. So a lot to be excited about there.
Yeah, I mean that's what the feeling was, and thank you for the validation, because now we are able to go, even to the the biggest of biggest companies, that hey, this tool is ready, so it gives us confidence. And I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of chatter on LinkedIn, especially about the lead object, the way it's been built and the use cases it can solve. So
Yes.
many people, posting videos and how to use it, what's this, use cases that they're able to solve now. I think this is all amazing. Uh, so yeah. Now, just to move from there, I think the other part that at least for me, the one of the big announcement was the UI extensions. Right, it has been coming. We've been hearing about it, and we've been having so many customers ask us about it. That hey, can we do this? Can we do that? And so far, we've been saying no. But I think that was a big announcement again, right? The UI extensions and data components. So can you tell me more about that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in particular, Abhinav, our partners like yourself and many of the people on the call today will be really excited about this functionality, because what it does is it gives you now the power to create totally custom functionality and experiences that are going to be tailored for each individual type of customer. So, as an example, using UI extensions and React, the developer can build a card right onto
Yeah.
a record. And what that means is you'll have all of the information where you need it. Uh, and so a use case that I'm thinking of here could be something like a CPQ, or if there's sensitive data that you don't want to persist in HubSpot, but you still want to bring it into the user interface to present it to the
Yes.
end user, you could use a
Yes.
card to be able to do that. Um, Similarly, like with our data components, there's an opportunity here to save a lot of time by customizing the record page view by team. And so that update allows you to customize the cards with 8 individual data components, so that your team only has to see, the specific data that matters to them. And those 8 components include things like your data association lists, your pivots, your tables, as well as data highlights. Um, what you can do with that is really you can achieve things like filtering associated contacts. You can view deal and ticket pipeline stages, for example, and you can also monitor important reports and trends on records, and a range of other exciting features.
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, yeah, we've been excited, and honestly, I don't know. Again, we've started getting inquiries. People, customers asking already for all of this. Hey, can you enable this? Because I've heard now extensions are possible and all of that. So I mean, it is not just for us partners, that we are seeing all this and getting thrilled. I think the good part is that customers are getting aware and they are coming back and asking us how to use it, or make things happen for them, just because this feature is now available. And so not just partners, I think everybody in the ecosystem is thrilled with that. uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay, so a lot of the features, I think let's go back a little. You mentioned at the beginning about connectivity, right? And that was one of the themes at Inbound this year, right? So what would be your advice, about what companies can do quickly to advance that level of connectivity and eventually drive growth for us?
Yeah, that's a great question, Abhinav. I'm actually going to borrow Yamini's advice if I can,
Okay.
because I thought Yamini actually summed it up incredibly well in her spotlight, which was the opening keynote at Inbound. And
Yeah.
really, what she said was, for companies that want to start on this journey of driving these new connections, there are really 4 key ideas that you can focus on as a starting point. The
Hmm.
first is to look at bots. There's an opportunity to leverage the HubSpot chatbots on your website for engaging customers. To give you a really quick example of that, Abhinav, we turned our chatbots on our website. We use it a lot from a service perspective. And what that means is that when an end customer has questions that they're wanting to answer, that it's actually the bot that's answering those questions. And the great thing about the bot is what it's looking to when it's trying to resolve the query is it's looking at the entire knowledge base that sits within HubSpot, and it's also looking at all of the case history. And so what it's
Mhm.
recommending to the end user is contextualized based on what it thinks is the best answer based on all of that past experience. So I think just remembering the statistic, it was well over 70% of interactions were actually handled by the bots
Wow.
on our website rather than a human. So definitely check out bots. I think it's a huge time saving, but also a great way at managing the customer's inquiry. The second thing I think is worth focusing on, though, is the content strategy. You've got an opportunity really to leverage Gen AI to be able to optimize the content and really tailor it to what your audience's intent is. And so there's a range of Gen AI features and assistants that we released, which can really help you to do that. The second thing is really around sales and driving that sales effectiveness. We have an opportunity through the Sales Hub to really focus on efficient and AI assisted sales reps, and to do that in a way that is meaningful to your customers without overwhelming them. And then lastly, I would say is really around service. Be proactive in developing and delivering the insights to help your customers get the most from the product. And so I think in summary, it's bots, content strategy, sales, and then proactive service.
Wow. Wow. That's a very good strategy. I mean, making sure that the connectivity and how to use the platform, right? That's great. Thanks, Sam, for that. Uh, okay, so one last question before we open this for the
Of course.
audience, and I know it's getting late for you, but appreciate a few more
No,
minutes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, because we are from India, and just want to hear your thoughts on in your opinion, how do you see the India market growing over the coming few years, and how might HubSpot or us take advantage of that growth. We
Okay.
now see a lot of because we now see a lot of large enterprises coming to HubSpot. I mean, in India,
Yes.
right? And you know it, right? You must be knowing the big names, right? So yeah. So what's your perspective there?
Yeah, I'm squirming in my seat, Abhinav, only because I thought you were about to ask me a question about the World Cup, I
I
thought, geez,
think India is
I'm
doing
going to
better
have to.
than Australia.
India is doing much better than Australia, so I was squirming. I was a bit uncomfortable there for a second, but yeah, look, leaving the World Cup aside, what I would say is, look, firstly, let me just say that India is an incredibly exciting market for HubSpot, and we are putting a lot of emphasis on it. There's a couple of things that I think is just worth sharing with the audience online tonight. Firstly, is that one of the measures that we look at internally when we look at the attractiveness of a market is really about around something we call the TAM, which is the total addressable market. So basically, what it does is it gives us a sense for how big is that market. And India is actually a very large market by any stretch. I think our last estimate was it's around the $2.5 billion size in terms of the market. So firstly, let me say that it's an attractive market. It has our attention. And we're excited by it. The second thing that is probably less well known in terms of how we think about India is one of the things we look at very closely is around how is our install base growing. And we look at it from a revenue perspective to see how much annual revenue is recurring from our
Mhm.
install base of customers. And what's really exciting is about the growth of our customer base in India from a revenue standpoint is growing faster in India than anywhere else across HubSpot globally. And so that's
Wow.
really exciting because it means that the investments that we're making into India are starting to pay off. It's got my attention. It's got Adi's attention, who many of you know. Adi's our country manager for India, and we've been spending a lot of time with our executive leadership team just explaining the potential of the Indian market. Um, I wanted to be in a situation today to be able to give you some specific announcements regarding India, which unfortunately I can't do. But what I can do is say to you that we're hoping to have a pretty material update for you shortly around how we think about the Indian market. And whilst I can't go into any details now, all I can say is stay tuned, because I think the team in India will be pretty happy with how we're thinking about the opportunity there.
Okay, okay. So great point. And yeah, I mean, we can discuss about the World Cup, after hours, I think. But yeah, thanks for sharing that insight. And it's really great to know that India is growing faster than the rest of the world. I think that's a good point to celebrate and also be motivated that yes, we're going in the right direction at least. And you, since you mentioned Addy, do you want to just wave hi to the audience? I'm not sure many of you know, but Adarsh Norona who's joking around in the chat, and he's really funny guy. But yeah, he's also the country head for India. Nadi, maybe you can just say hi to the audience. Are you around still? Uh, okay, he is. Uh, Somehow you cannot start your video. Okay. Hey, sorry, Adi. I don't know. The platform is weird. Yeah. Can anybody allow? I don't know. That is a login issue or okay. He's really
all,
logging.
all
Okay.
good,
All
all
good.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so what's your thought while Adi rejoins? Do you think Australia will make it to the semi-final?
I certainly hope so. I think we're batting very well at the moment. So I think if our bowlers can do a good job as our batters are doing, we'll be okay. But look, India look very, very good. I think they're going to be the team to beat. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think we're doing actually pretty good. Some of the players have been out of form before the World Cup, but now they're all shining. So it's been working out well for us. I think the timing is going good for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't have anything else. So we'll open it for the audience. Anybody wants to ask questions, please feel free. Uh, Meanwhile, we'll let. Oh, Addy's here. Hey,
Hi.
hi, Addy.
Sorry,
You
I
want
have
to
to
quickly
relog in.
introduce yourself?
My name is Adarsh Norona. I mean, with a lot of love, everybody calls me Adi. Was listening to Dan's keynote. Really exciting in terms of product, in terms of our TAM in India, in terms of what we want to do and what we want to achieve. It's really, really good times coming ahead. I don't know how much Dan said about the future plans, but I think he gave enough for us to be excited, and that's what we carry. We want to end the year pretty strongly. We've been doing very well for a while now. That shows what this country's tender love and care for our way of selling here, and our customers have been so happy for a long period of time. And I think we have got a big runway ahead to build this business. So very keen to make this happen. This dream come true for all of us. We've been working for 4 years
Yeah.
relentlessly here in this market. We've been trying to help companies grow much better than when they're not with us. So it's an opportunity of a lifetime for all of us who have invested our lives in HubSpot to really impact the country as a whole. And I'm very excited. Sorry, long monologue. Did I interrupt the conversation there?
No, no, we were just chatting about who will make it to the semifinals. So all good.
As I told, we don't talk about cricket, especially if India wins.
Great. So yeah, I mean, thanks, Eddie, for sharing that. And yes, like I was saying, there are some questions from the audience. Let's take them. In fact, there is one already. Shanta has asked. Oh, Shanta Kumar. Dan, any chances of HubSpot restarting the growth event in APAC?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Shanta. Thank you for asking that. So we're working on it, is the short answer to that question. We would very much like to do that. We're looking at the possibility of hosting a Grow event somewhere in APAC in FY24, which is starting in January next year. So what I can say at this stage is it's definitely a priority for us, and as soon as we have something to announce, we will definitely let you all know. From my perspective, that doing it in APAC is a really important thing to do because we have so many incredible customers, not just in India, but all across the region. And it's a great opportunity to bring all those customers together. And so we're, absolutely focused on that.
Sounds great. Yeah, Kumar is saying that America is half the world away. So yeah, if you could do it closer.
That's exactly the plan.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for that. Anybody else? Any other questions? And if not, then we can let Dan sleep.
No, it
Okay,
doesn't look
cool.
like it, Abhinav.
Yeah,
Before I sign off for the night, I just wanted to thank you again for the opportunity to come and speak to you. I hope you get the sense from myself and from Adi as well, who's joined, that, the Indian market is just so important for us, and something we passionately believe in. It's a pleasure to stay up late and connect with as many of you as I can. You can probably see my dog in the background. He's fast asleep there. He hasn't moved, but every time he snores, the camera focuses on him. If I can be of any assistance to anyone on the call, or if Adi can, anything you need from us to really help, drive growth in your business and drive success, we're here to help you. And so please don't be strangers. Let us know. So thank you so much for having us, Abhinav.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. I know you had a long day and it's really late into the night. So thank you, for that. And yes, I don't know about anybody else, but I will definitely be reaching out to you for help.
Great.
I
Sounds
think,
good.
I will take a minute before Dan goes out, just to introduce Dan's contribution, not just for HubSpot globally, but for HubSpot India in particular. He comes with a lot of India knowledge. So thankfully for us, we have a leader now in HubSpot Asia who has been there, seen this movie before, and is no stranger to any of India's ways of doing business. So that gives us an immense confidence to do the right things when we do it in a big scale. And like Dan said a while ago, that TAM is attractive, but we cannot have all our engines running all the time. We need to pick and choose our battles to build the foundational way of doing business. If you're dreaming of building something where that legacy will stay forever, I think we've got the right person with right experience in Dan, and that's the confidence. I'm not saying this because I report to him, but it is important to have somebody who can bridge the gap between what we need locally here to somebody who can also go to the HQ and get us the resources and investments and be our advocate. So that's the confidence that he brings into the table and his experience. So
well,
thanks,
thank
Dan.
you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Adi. That means a lot. Look, it's something that I've been working in and around India for well over 20 years now. I can't. I was trying to think as you were talking, Adi, how many trips I've made to Delhi or Mumbai or Bangalore over the years. Or even, I've been to Pune a bunch of times. I can't even imagine. But look, it's a really important part of the world, and it's important for us at HubSpot. So excited to partner with you on it.
Awesome. So yeah,
Right.
hopefully next year we'll see you sometime, in person in India, maybe
Sounds
somewhere.
good. Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
All
going
right
to
then.
leave you there, but thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much, Dan. Yeah, and
Bye-bye.
thanks, Eddie. Yeah. Bye. Okay. Cool. That was fun. I think good to hear from somebody up in the leadership at HubSpot that what are the plans for India, and in general how's the ecosystem shaping up. So yeah, so with that, I think let us move to our next segment, which is the much awaited, going through the new features that have been launched on the HubSpot space. I have my colleagues, Nilanjana and Rajiv today, who will be, taking all of us through the marketing and sales hub features, especially the AI bits, whatever is happening. Like you heard, Dan say earlier that, a lot of improvements in the sales hub, and some, cool AI stuff in the marketing hub, right? So the next hour or so, I think, just be prepared to know everything about whatever, is happening in terms of product features. And yeah, hopefully you will, as you learn, you will apply. Uh, so, and I'm not sure Nilanjana or Rajiv who's going first. uh,
Yeah, I think, yeah, Rajiv, if you are ready to take over, I think
okay,
you can go and I can go after you.
Sure. I think thanks, Avinav, and thanks, Nilanjana. I think Dan has
cool.
already set the context, right? What HubSpot uh, has for us in terms of Sales Hub. There are a lot of things, but today I'll be specifically focusing on the prospecting tool, which is like the talk of the town. The At this moment, people have been trying testing it out in multiple ways, but the most important thing, how it's going to help and whom is it going to help, right? So that's these are the two things which we are going to explore now. And yeah, so before we run out of time, I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Rajiv, an onboarding specialist at Nestle since 2022, and I've been taking care of all the onboardings for all the hubs, most of the hubs, except I'm not really good at marketing. Yeah, so apart from that, I've been taking onboarding for all the hubs. And prior to this, I have been working for about 7 years in for both small and large organization. And I think what a coincidence. My favorite aspect has always been prospecting, and coincidentally, even the topic that I've chosen for today's call is prospecting with HubSpot, right? So let's quickly dive in. Uh, the pros- uh, let's quickly dive in. Let me find out where I can share my screen. So yeah, I do not have any slides. What I'm gonna take you through is what HubSpot was a couple of months back, and what were the problem faced by the sales folks, and how the prospecting tool is different, and how it's gonna help, right? So let me quickly share my screen. All right. Okay. Visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. So I mean, traditionally, what our sales folks have been doing is this is the most favorite, place where they would basically see if there are any leads that are assigned to them. So you basically have columns or even this dynamic filter, which allows you to see all the leads that are assigned to you. Things that you would check as lead status and couple of more other things, right? And then probably the second thing that you would check is if there are any tasks due today or overdue, right? So this is another tab which you can find it out right from here. And then probably you will see if there are any meetings booked, right? So these are the three tabs that we would shuffle around, right? So this has been an issue where the sales folks have been facing issues here, that they have to move around different tabs and things, and that is not really an ideal way to uh, get things done. So that's what now prospecting tool, which is again part of your sales hub pro, and you get this access when you have a paid seat assigned, right? So you get it right from this option. So this is what the prospecting tool is all about. So the first screen that you see, right, is the summary screen, where you see all your tasks, all your tasks, all your leads, and the statuses as well, and if there are any sequence that you have enrolled in the past, or they're currently been going on, you can see it right from this screen. So this is one unified dashboard which allows you to view all this activities in one place. And like I mentioned, you don't have to like shuffle around screens or tabs, right? You can also see your schedule. So I can check out my schedule properly from here without having to move around this and that screen, right? So that's quite an interesting feature that allows you to have everything all in one place. And the second most interesting tab you see here is the leads tab, right? And this is where things change. So all this while, what we were used to was picking up a lead and then updating the lead status. We were mostly focused into lead status, right? But right now, with this new lead management feature, right, what you can basically do, you can basically label this lead into three categories: hot, warm, and cold. Right now it is not editable, right? But HubSpot has planned to customize it as well, and then add companies into it, and then you can also apply stages, different stages. Now, the things that is worth noting here is the stages that you see right here, right, is I mean, partially automated in a way. So if any lead that you have basically pulled in, right? So there are multiple ways that you can pull in leads. So one way is, for example, I go to my contacts and then I select all of the contacts that are assigned to me, and then I click onto this tab, which basically pushes all those contacts into the screen. That is way number one. And the other way is this option, which allows me to add further leads. So if I click this, I get two options primarily, right, to add a contact or a company. So I can pick it up anything that I would like to. So yeah, this is another way. Okay. And the moment I have basically added this lead, right, and since there is no activity whatsoever, right, so that's why it has categorized this as new. The moment I attempt sending emails or making a call, right, so the moment I basically do any activity with it, so it immediately changes the status stage to a different one, right? So for example, let's just say that I try to make phone calls. Okay. So this the functionality is such that this will move this whole lead stage into a different one. So I'll show you what are the default lead stages that HubSpot default provides, right? And then a certain automation that it provides. Okay, so technically it should move this to attempting or connected. So yeah, you can see, right? So it has moved the stage automatically to connected. Now, in order to understand this whole thing, right, you can quickly dive into the action tab, where you can see the setting option. And I've already opened a tab which says lead setting. So these are the setups that you can do. So the first thing that you see under the setup tab is, right, how do you want to create a lead basis of life cycle? So I have chosen, and even HubSpot by default chooses marketing qualified leads as the base for creating a lead, right? But you can change it as per your requirement. Okay, so you can either choose a different one that you would like. Okay. And the second thing that you see here, which is pretty interesting, is the lead stages. Like I mentioned before, that it allows a certain level of automation, which will further smoothen the process. How our sales folks basically update certain things, right? So, like I already demoed that a lead that was pulled in and tried connecting, right? And the moment I updated a status as call connected, then it directly moved to a stage which says connected. Okay, so if you see, this is the first stage where leads are moved into the stage directly. And then once you have made any progress, right, whether you have attempted or any whether the call or email, whether the call was connected or you have got a response to your email, then it moves to connected. And you can add further stages to it as well. And similarly, once the lead stage moves to qualified, that's when this option comes to picture, which basically means that if it is qualified, then you would obviously want to make a deal out of it. So you can do that right by switching on this option, which will give you an option to create a deal out of it. And then if there is a disqualified lead, then it asks for a reason if you enable this. Okay, so we'll quickly see that how that whole thing works. So if I move this to qualified, then it asks me whether you want to create a new deal out of it or whether you want to add to an existing one, and you put all the details and we're done. Okay, similarly, if I update this to disqualified, then I get this option, couple of options, whether what was the reason for the disqualification. Sorry. Okay,
No,
so
no, you can go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, so once you update the disqualification reason, and we are done. So let's just update that. Let's just say it's a budget constraint, and then also it allows me to create a task, right? Whether I would want to follow up with this lead in the future, or I don't want to, right? And then I put some test note, and then I put this as disqualified. Okay, so I'm just randomly putting some company name and labels out here. And let's just assume that, after a month or after a couple of weeks, right? This person comes back again to us, looking out for some other opportunities or some other services, right, from us. Then we can, we can further add him again, and I'll show you how that whole interface would look like then. So the whole idea of having um, this prospecting tool is you get an idea how many times that person had interacted with us. So for example, if I click this, so you can see, right, that on this date, we have updated this as disqualified, and this is one new activity which has just got created. Now we can update. This is another life cycle for the same contact. This way, our sales folks can easily determine how many times we had a deal with this customer, how many times we couldn't really have any deal with this customer, and any other communication or anything that is associated with this can be seen right in one place. Another important thing that I would want to mention here is that since I had shown like three tabs, right? One was contact, task, and then calendar, right? So with this prospecting tool, it becomes quite easy for us to book a meeting with this person directly from here. So if I click this, I get two options: whether I want to schedule a call with myself, right? So I become a host, or there is another option which is a meeting rotation one, so that it basically ensures that whoever he wants to get on a call with can basically schedule a meeting with this person, right? So for this instance, I'm just gonna select me as a host, and then I basically look at the calendar. So the schedule that you see is for 30th October to November 3rd. And if I want to further, see another dates, that I just click this, and then whichever date I think, I do not have any meeting, I simply click on this. And on the basis of the input that are updated here, the meeting schedule gets updated. And if I want to further put any automation like reminder emails, I can do that right from here without having to move to different screen or setting up any further automation. And if I so for example, okay, so there is a meeting reminder that goes 3 days before the call. And if I want to further add more reminders to the person, and then any description that I would want to add, or maybe add another attendees to it, uh, for example. So yeah, I could do that as well. And then once I'm done with everything, then I just schedule a meeting with this person by clicking onto the save. So you get two options right here. Not to forget, you can either set a meeting for yourself, or for a you can set up a meeting rotation as well. Okay. All right. The other thing that I wanted to share was about the so once we have basically look at explore the summary, we have explored the lead and the different options that are here, and what's next? The next is basically the reports, right? So where are we going to find out the reports or all the efforts that we put in? So you can find it right from here, right below this action button. You see view lead funnel report, which takes us to another screen, and there we get plenty of reports and analytics. So yeah. Okay, so this is one sort of report which gives us a complete lead funnel report, right? A leads overview. How many leads do we have in open? Average in progress leads, conversion rate, average time to first touch. Let me just tell you that this is a demo portal, and I do not work here in this portal. That's why this whole data is inaccurate. But yeah, once you set it on your real portal, where you have been managing all your deals and leads, you will see the right report. So yeah. So yeah, there are a couple of things that which are pretty important for the sales folks and the sales manager, right? So this is one place where you can go, and the other option where you can find another set of report is this prospecting activities, which focuses specifically on the prospecting function or um, tool that I've just showcased, right? So you get the option right here. So yeah, if I have enrolled any contacts into sequence, I get the number of associated meeting rate, and so on. So quite if you have like bunch of people who are using this, then you would see plenty of data here. But since this is a demo portal which is just used by me for the demo purpose, so you don't see much of a report here. But yeah, I would really encourage you guys to start using it. And I think I would now wait for your questions if you have any, and if you don't really have, I to my colleague Nilanjana uh, to.
I think we do have a question here from Nitin. So, can super admins who do not have a paid sales seat assigned to them, can they access the prospecting tab
No,
or not? Or can they
no.
access the tab or at least the reports? Can they look at the reports in that sense, in that case?
Well, I'll need to check on the reports bit, but definitely the prospecting tool meant for the paid seat only. So, if that answers your questions, Nitin, but I'll check on whether we can access the report part. I'll get back to you on this.
Sure, sure. I think that should answer that question. Anybody else? Any questions about the prospecting tool? If you've already tried that, or if you have not, but based on whatever Rajiv showcased, any other questions that come to mind? We'll give that like a couple of minutes before we get into the next set. So while essentially Rajiv covered the sales part of it, wherein prospecting is one of the newest and most powerful changes that have been introduced. Um, as far as I can see, that does make the salesperson's job a lot easier. And yeah, another question. Yes, Nitin, the recording will be sent to you. We take some time to process the recording, but you should have it by tomorrow, definitely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so if it's making the salespeople's lives easier, the marketers shouldn't be left far behind. And again, I think Dan sort of in his initial answers did speak about this part as well, and sort of gave a gave some foreshadowing as to the whole AI aspect of it, and how it's definitely not about whether it'll take our jobs, but as far as I'm using the AI tool right now, like as a marketer at Nisway, it's definitely making life a lot easier. And so I just want to dive into that. And so we looked at all of the new features that came in from inbound, and there are two key features or feature sets, I would say, that have come in. One is the generative AI piece and what we can do with that, and I think the second one is the many messaging or the SMS part that you can do from within HubSpot now. So just to briefly cover that, and I don't want to dive deeper into that because that is also something that is only available for US audiences or US HubSpot users right now. They can just look at the SMS part. But basically, you can run SMS marketing campaigns same as you run email marketing campaigns inside of HubSpot. So you can create your SMS and you can add a list and you can just hit send, and it will go out to the SMS will go out to that entire list and a few other analytics and reporting stuff on top of that. But as I said, not going into that a whole lot because specifically because that is currently just for the US audience. So with that out of the way, we come to the next biggest chunk, which is the AI. And just like Rajiv, I want to sort of quickly share my screen and take us through just a quick look at what all is possible, where all of this AI sort of lands us, and then how do we take it from there, essentially. Uh, I'll be looking at something called the campaign assistant, which is one of the biggest and sort of a huge jump in terms of the AI assistants and agents that Dan talked about. Uh, Sorry, any idea when it will initiate? Could you be more specific about when what will initiate? Are you talking about the SMS thing or something else? And I will answer that maybe towards the end, definitely. Okay, so just quickly starting to share my screen and we can dive into the AI part of it. Okay. Okay. Can you, I hope you can see my screen. Yes, it does say. So basically, the campaign assistant is a bit of a tool that starts a little outside of your HubSpot portal, and then you can create things with it inside your HubSpot portal. So I'll share the link with this also in the email that goes out to you guys. So there's app.hubspot.com campaign assistant, and here you can see it lets you create all the or at least a lot of the assets that you need for a particular campaign. So you can create your landing page, email, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn ads, all of these things. Right. So once you're here, it will ask you to choose one and sign up for free because I already have a HubSpot account. If you click here, it will just ask you to choose which portal, and you can just choose your portal and get started. So for example, let's say I want to start off with actually creating a landing page. Now I have already a tab open, and just a quick brief, let's say I'm trying to, my campaign is about getting my audience to download an ebook about APAC customer expectations. So we've put a lot of effort into the ebook. Now we want people to get start downloading it. So for that, the first thing I want to create is a landing page. So I'm going to create new asset and landing page. So here you can see you will have to say or input a few key things about your campaign. So for example, let's say I have a few things prepared. So we have this, the description of the campaign, and then next, let's say we have to input the key messages that we want the campaign to have. So for example, let's say I have three key messages. I will go with the first one is something like this. Then we have the second message that goes something like this. Hmm. And then the third key message that we have is, let's say, this. All right. So we have three key messages that we have put in. And then next, what do we want the audience to do? So in this case, it is pretty clear. We want them to uh, download the ebook. And then finally, we have to choose a writing style to give it like some amount of pointers as to how we want to go in. So for example, I want it to be professional. You can select up to three here, but for the time being, I'm just selecting one. So I've chosen professional and I hit on create content. So it will just take a few moments to create it, and yeah, so as you can see, it will create a landing page, banner text and subtext, and then the three key sections of your landing page based on the three key messages that I've given. And as you can see, I've only said a few things, but it has sort of, with Gen AI, it has taken those things and strung them into proper sentences that has, let's say, the amount of impact that I want to put in, or the amount of impact that I want to convey in a landing page. And then it has the, so here you can see just the text. So it has created the text for it. Now, for example, if I were to, let's say, change one of my key inputs. So, for example, let's say we are changing the second key input to something like this. Here we go. So that's my second input right now. And in terms of, let's say, I want it to be professional, but I also want it to be a little bit witty, for example. So I've changed the tone a little bit. I've changed one of my key pointers. And now if I click on regenerate content, it'll again take some time and change things up. And what I want you to see is it doesn't just like change up a few sentences here and there, but it will also sort of give you like a fully revised content or fully revised text as you would, and it sort of says a few different things and all of that. So your text sort of becomes ready in this manner. And then, which again is the cool part and sort of makes life easier, is you can just click on create landing page. You can just click on create free landing page. You can just go on from here, and it will, inside of your HubSpot portal, create that landing page for you. All right. So and I think that is the power here, which is that you don't have to go through multiple clicks to actually clone a landing page, set up a landing page, do this, do that, blah blah blah, drag and drop all your sections into here to do this. Okay, just at the very basic level, it has given you a very basic, well designed, relatively well designed landing page with all the text that you just came up with. Now you can sort of, you will have the option of, as within HubSpot, have the option of changing a few colors and text and all of that here and there. You can also within this landing page add more sections if you want. So for example, I can sort of choose, not add to, yeah, add to page modules. I can sort of choose to add a form in here if I want. So I can just drag and drop the form module and put it in here. I can do all of those things. But at a very basic level, you do have something basic that's ready for you that you can work upon. So you're not really starting from scratch. You're already maybe starting at 40%, 30%, 40%, and then go in from there and, do your own thing into that, or, put our own marketing brains into that to, take that to the next level. Even here, with even here, even once your landing page is made, you sort of like within HubSpot, you can still, let's say, use for example, I just make it a little smaller, use generative AI capabilities to some extent. For example, I'm selecting this and I see this little bolt mark. So I can click on this and I can ask, even with this text, I can ask it to change. So I can do, let's say, a rewrite or expand or shorten. For example, let's say I'm shortening it. So it will just give me a look at, or maybe this is not short enough for me. I wanted to, maybe even shorter or something like that. So it'll give me something like that where I say insert and it has shortened my whole thing. Similarly here, for example, if I'm clicking on this and going here, or even here it'll appear, I'm saying change tone to witty. So let's see what comes up. So in-depth knowledge for achieving success. It's not particularly witty, but it's still changing tone, and you might try a few other things for yourself. But it does give you some more ideas, or if you're not using exactly what it is throwing out, you can maybe change it, but also it sparks some ideas. Again, not a blank slate, which is definitely much harder. So it brings you up to a certain level. So then there's your landing page, and you can make all the changes you want to it. You can go into settings, and even here you have generative AI. You can click on that, your page titles will appear. Obviously, I don't need all of this, but download now, I can just maybe remove this bit, and I can see, or I can change things around a little bit, but it gives you a page title. And then similarly here, you can click on this and get a meta description as well. So wherever you see this bold icon, that is essentially where generative AI is enabled, and clicking on that will either give you a text or ask you to choose what you want to, or how you want to mold your text. So that's the first thing that you can do with it, which is create sorry, where was I, which is create a landing page. So let's say now we've looked at the landing page. You can even name your landing page right here. Now, because let's say a campaign has several different assets, so let's say I'm going to back to view all my assets. So I can see my landing page is here. I have created two variants of the landing page. Again, key thing to remember, all that every time that you change something and you regenerate the content, you kind of have all of it stored here. So we have our first version also with this point and a certain tone, and then we regenerate it, so we have our second version also. So just a very key thing to keep in mind is that it keeps storing all your versions, and when you're looking at your campaign, you can see all the versions of variants that you might have created. So again, we have the landing page in place. Now, for example, let's say we want to create some ads. So let's say we are creating a Google search ad. So we have Google search ad, we click on that. Everything is the same because it's the same campaign, so all the stuff is the same. It's asking for some keywords. So if you have done, or if you have some keyword research in place, you can put in some keywords here. So you can do that, or you can choose not to do that as well. That's not a problem. We still have download the ebook, and we still have the writing style. For example, let's say we are keeping just professional for our first batch. So we have this, and we just do a generate content, and you can see that it will put out a certain amount of Google ads, three different Google ads for you, Google search ads for you. So again, you can copy it out, you can take it to Google, you can revise it a little bit if you want, but it's still a good starting place, and it's telling your consumers what you want. And so basically, with just a few clicks, um, you are at a point where you have a few ads to look at, and you can revise them, you can do more with them. Obviously you can change what you want, but you're certainly at a good position to launch something if you don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Again, I'm doing a different version. Let's say we're not doing this, we're just doing something not friendly. Let's say we're doing something creative, and we hit on generate content, and it will give me a second version as well. So it's given me another set of Google ads. So now I have six Google ads, Google ad copies to sort of work with. And again, you can see the first version is here, and the second version is also stored. So the more you regenerate, all the versions will keep getting stored as well. So again, you go to campaign assets. So now Google ads, because that is something that you have to set up on Google, it's not something that you set up inside HubSpot. So you don't see the option that says set up Google ads, because that's a different platform altogether. But anything that you will be made inside of HubSpot, just like example, the landing page. So you saw that button that says create landing page. Similarly, if I were to create email, you will also see the button that says create marketing email, and it will actually make the email inside of HubSpot. So with that, you can very quickly have a lot of different assets in place, right? And if you have your images ready, you can just quickly add the images as well once you've taken it into HubSpot. So you can see how everything is can be done at a really fast pace, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't, as a marketer, I know at the start of a campaign for how long I've been staring at blank pages or a blank Excel sheet, just to think of, okay, I have to make six examples of Google ads or two different LinkedIn ad copies, and I have to write a landing page. Now what do I write? So the thing is, if you are a marketer who really knows the campaign they want to run, you can very well put together those three key points and a starting intro. Because if you know what you want to run, those things will be really quick for you. And once you do that, you just have to, at the click of a button, you have some really good content out there for you, which you can then sort of mold and improve and all of that. But It definitely, if I was taking, let's say, maybe one day to actually write all of my content together, and then maybe, discuss with somebody else to, polish that off a little bit on day two. Now all of that can happen in day one itself, like in maybe half an hour. That's too fast. But in maybe 2 hours, I could have like the content there, and I would have revised the content, and I would have, published my landing page or ads or stuff like that. So things can become really, really quick. Now, what I really want to also talk about is it's not just about things becoming quick. It's also what you can do with all of that speed. So first of all is definitely speed for speed's sake, and that also means that you can really work very comfortably with a new or fresh team. So for example, even in our even at Misway, we have teams joining or freshers joining who have not really done marketing before, or who could use a lot of guidance in terms of marketing. But with tools like this, they can really go ahead and explore and set up a campaign, and then come back to me and say, okay, this is what we have set up, and then we can take it to the next level. But it gives them an option, or any new or fresh team, it gives them an option of really putting together something quickly, and then taking it, or then polishing it off, and publishing that campaign. The second thing you can do is it makes A/B testing, or testing any sort of hypothesis really easy. For example, whether you are testing with an email, with a marketing email, or with a landing page. Let's say, for example, I am testing with my landing page. So I am sort of focusing on three key messages here, and I also want to test, like for example, my campaign. I want to also test a different message. So just within this, I can change some of the key messaging here, and it will give me a different landing page copy. And very quickly, I have copies, two landing pages to A/B test, which I can both set up and run and see what happens. The same can be the case with Google Ads, the same with marketing emails. If you want to test out your um, messaging, you can make a change here and get two different copies. If you want to test out, let's say, your tone, does my campaign do well if I'm being friendly, or does my campaign do well if I'm being witty, whatever that is. So you can change the tone or make some changes here and get two different copies, and then run two different A/B test versions. So even A/B testing becomes really faster with something like this in place. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that I could think of, which is something that is a big problem if you are running ABM campaigns, which is, let's say, especially when you come to the highly personalized part of ABM campaigns, that for each company you are running a personalized landing page and stuff like that. So with this, you can really set up all of those multiple landing pages really, really quickly. Let's say for company A, you want the messaging to be this, and for company B, you want the messaging to be slightly different. So you can still make that slightly different inputs here and quickly come up with different landing pages for different target companies. And then once you are on the landing page, even here, let's say, you can just add a personalization token here with the company name, or any other sort of personalization token that will make the landing page, let's say, very um, personalized for that particular account, or the people from that particular account. So then with just very few changes, you can set up maybe 10, 20 different landing pages for different target accounts, and all of them will be like slightly personalized, but you at the back end didn't have to do a lot of effort. All right. So I think those are some of the very key things where I find that this content, or this campaign assistant is going to come in handy. And while post inbound, we've just started looking into it, and all of this was sort of announced in inbound, and we've just started looking into it. But I do believe that even especially for marketing companies and sort of any B2B companies that are doing it, who are always sort of pressed on how big our marketing team is, and there's a lot on the plate of the marketing team at all times, they are going to be some of the biggest beneficiaries of the campaign assistant that has come up. So yeah, I think that is. Oh, sorry. Let me stop sharing. That is all I had in terms of the camping assistant. Any questions that you have in terms of what we just went through, you can definitely share here. While the questions come in, I would also like to maybe look at that while this is the campaign assistant part, even within, if you have HubSpot CMS, even within there, there's a lot of there is some amount of generative AI that has come in terms of the blogs options. So, for example, if I could maybe I can take a few moments to go through that as well. Yeah. So let me just share my screen again. Window. Okay. I hope everybody can see my screen. So even with blogs, if you have Marketing Pro or higher, you should be able to see this option. So if you are in your marketing website blog section, so this is what appears. So you can see a generate blog post thing here. Now this is not just generate a blog post as in you give your input and it will generate a blog post, but it's a little bit more than that. So let's say we do a generate blog. So it will ask you for one uh, for an initial prompt, like what is the broad topic that you want to do your blog about. For example, let's say I want to do my blog about this in, and this is the target country and all of that. Now what it does is, if I go to next, what it'll ask me is it'll give me some suggestions, and these keyword suggestions are coming in from SEMrush. So right now I think, given whatever topic I've chosen, the keyword is a little less, but you can also look at different topics and it will give you, within that topic it will give you different titles and keywords and tell you what is the volume and what is the difficulty. So once you see that, you can take a look and you can choose which one you want to go after, and then you can go into next, and then it will give you some sort of broad outline as well. And if you're happy with the outline, you can go to the generate blog post and you can generate that blog, or you can go to save drafts and keep it in your bank for later. So what Dan talked about in terms of content strategy, this is one of the key tools where that comes in, that you can input all of those things here and create a whole get some keyword inputs and create a whole content strategy or content pillars, and different topics under the same pillar. So there's a lot to explore there as well. So if you've got Marketing Hub Pro, I would, oh sorry, not Marketing Hub Pro, if you've got CMS Hub Pro, I would urge you to go check that out as well, in terms of what is possible with generative AI inside of HubSpot. So yeah. Oh, I'm not sure why that happened, and I'm seeing everybody's comments just now. Very sorry about that. Oh, okay. Okay, now I've stopped sharing. Can somebody, Simran, can you get into the presenter mode and let me know what is visible and what is not? Oh, okay, okay. So you could see all the blogs and the keywords and all of those things, I'm hoping. Okay, okay, great. All right. So I think, yeah, in terms of generative AI, and as far as it comes to what you can do with it inside HubSpot in terms of marketing, those were some of the biggest changes and the newest, freshest update that we had. Obviously, you can go into it and sort of start trying things out. We've also not been able to maybe try it that much, because what happens with the community is that once they sort of get into something, people start going really deep and start experimenting with different things. And I'm pretty sure even as we do that with campaign assistant, a lot of new things will come up, and we'll be able to see a lot of new use cases, or new ways of how, tips and tricks of how different teams are using it actually. And maybe further down the line we can do another hug where we see how the rest of the community is sort of using these as well. So yeah, I think that is what we had. I'll take a couple of minutes to maybe see. Yeah, Rajiv has also shared a very important link in the chat, which you can sort of bookmark, because that is a page where they sort of keep sending out or keep adding all the new stuff that has come into HubSpot. So if you want to stay up to date with whatever is happening, all the new features, I think that's a link to follow. Yeah. All right. Again, any questions? Please feel free to ask. I'll just take a breather here for a few minutes. All right. It looks like that's what we have for now. Again, I understand that's something that all teams would want to check it out for themselves, and then maybe get to it. And definitely, as I said, another hug in a couple of months, and uh, we can take a look at uh, how everybody else is using it. Thank you, Ahan. That was quite informative. Yes, I hope that that's why the HubSpot user groups are for, so that people can take back stuff that helps them with their work. All right. Thank you, all the amazing people for who joined us today. I think with Abhinav and Dan conversation, that was really good, and obviously we are excited to see what those new announcements are going to be, because we are in the dark as well. But yeah, so thanks Abhinav for that, and thanks Rajiv for taking us through prospecting. And again, if you if your teams are now looking at the prospecting tool and all the amazing things that you can do with it, we would like to hear about them as well. You can just tag us on LinkedIn with all the new stuff that you try, definitely. So yeah, that's all that we had from today. Again, we will be sending you the recording as well, which should be with you sometime tomorrow. So that's there. And yeah, Abhinav, do you have any last words since you've joined?
Not really. I think thank you so much, Rajiv and Nilanjana. Thank you so much for taking us through all the features. I think it just fits what we were trying to do probably earlier this year, right? If you can think of a campaign, then you can just do it on your own. I think for me
Right,
that was one big highlight. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, I think hopefully everyone should be able to do all campaigns by themselves now. Yeah, so with that we can round this up. And I think probably we'll be doing some another event in December or in January sometime. We're still figuring out with HubSpot with that. But yeah, in between, people, anybody in the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Uh, once you get the recording, you can reply to that email also. If you have any questions, and feel free to circulate the recording with your team as well. Right. Yeah, with that we can close, I suppose. It was wow, 1.5 hours we've been here, so thank you all
Yeah.
for staying. Yeah,
Thank you, everyone. Have
and
a
see you
have a
soon.
great day ahead. Bye bye.
Yeah, and Rajiv, thanks to Bye bye.